Welcome to another episode of Moandain Designs. I'm your host Moandain. This video is part of my favorites series, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite superhero games.
Number 10.
The Tick was released on the Super Nintendo, and it was a very tongue-in-cheek, not taken way too seriously or anything like that. It mainly just poked fun at the genre, and it was just a wonderful game. It was a side-scrolling beat-em-up where you could call in Arthur and just have lots and lots of fun.
Number 9.
Spider-Man the movie on Xbox was one of the first adaptations of a superhero movie into a game that was fairly true to the feel of the character. You actually felt like Spider-Man going around and fighting the Green Goblin and doing everything that Spider-Man is supposed to do.
Number 8.
X-Men vs. Street Fighter on the Sega Saturn was a wonderful game. You got to play a great side-scrolling fighting game where you just got to beat each other up really well. You got to use some of the classic Street Fighter characters that everyone knew and loved, and it was one of the best ways to introduce the crossover genre for Capcom. It's definitely a very good game. I would highly suggest checking it out, but if the price is too high, you might want to stay away from it.
Number 7.
X-Men 2 Clone Wars on the Genesis was another side-scrolling platformer beat-em-up that was just very well done. Apparently, like all of the Genesis X-Men games are very good.
Number 6.
Speaking of X-Men Genesis games, the original X-Men Genesis game, again, very good game. You got to play some of the best characters, and it was just a lot of fun. I remember playing this platformer with friends quite often.
Number 5.
Marvel vs. Capcom 1 on the Dreamcast was another great crossover fighting game where you got to play a huge number of superheroes. This was one of the first big hit crossovers for Capcom, and it's really worth it. There are multiple versions out there. There should be a way that you can get a hold of this game and play it.
Number 4.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on the Dreamcast as well is another one of my favorite superhero games. Again, it just seems like they've taken the first game and up to the bar and just taken it to a whole new level. With all the tag-ins and the character assists and everything else. Again, it's just a really fun game, and everyone should at least play it once.
Number 3.
Spider-Man on the PlayStation was an adaptation of the comic book Spider-Man, not the movie Spider-Man. And I feel that they did a good job. They got his attitude, how he was kind of snarky, and didn't really respect a lot of the enemies that he was going up against. All of the wall crawling was very well done. Sneaking around was done very well. Even the spider sense warning about attacks coming in was done, just above and beyond what I honestly expected back then for the PlayStation.
Number 2.
Batman Arkham City on the PC and multiple consoles was a wonderful game. It was just something where they had the voice actors correct. They had the feel of the game correct. They had the look of the game correct. And as you were playing this game, you slowly started to feel like you were Batman, like you were the one that was solving the Riddler's clues, and that you as a player were becoming Batman. And that's something I really like. I love that level of immersion.
Number 1.
It should come as no surprise that the X-Men arcade game released in 1992 is my absolute favorite superhero game. This thing was massive. It had 2 monitors, one which was reflected off of a reflective surface so that the monitors could merge properly and have a little bit of overlap. And I think it was like 8 players on this massive, massive arcade machine. I'd love to have one, but there's absolutely no way that I could actually ever have room for that behemoth. Now, the machine is great, the game is great, but there have been multiple ports of this game onto various emulators or online systems that have, this is a downloadable game, and it's worth it. It's just a lot of fun. You can usually pick up a copy where you can play as have 4 players playing with you at the same time, and it's just worth it. It shouldn't be that expensive, especially if you pick it up as a digital copy. Well, that's it for this episode of Moandain Designs. I'm your host Moandain, and I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. If you like what you see, you can support me and my channel on Patreon by clicking one of the links below. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a wonderful day.